Ready, tick.
So now we have completed with the standard curve. We have the orange yellow colored complex and we have kept the test tubes for cooling. Simultaneously we will have to do the enzyme amylase assay. For this we have taken 2 tests and 1 control. Okay, so the control is labeled as C and the 2 tests, always take 2 tests because duplicate or triplicate is always better, because if one goes wrong also you can save the other. Okay, now in order to start with the experiment, we have the materials required, the buffer, the substrate and the enzyme ready, and the DNS, which is a reagent which is going to give the color. Now first we always start with the phosphate buffer, which is pH 6.8, which is the optimum pH for amylase. So to the control, so the final volume should be 2 ml as we have done for the standard. Here also the final volume will be 2 ml. Now the only difference between the control and the test is all the reagents are the same in both, except in control there is no enzyme. So this is something which you have to remember. Control does not have enzyme, but control has the substrate. Okay, the test has the enzyme and the substrate. So control is something like a blank which we use for other standard colorimetric estimations. So we will start with the buffer and all, because we have to create an ambient condition before we add the enzyme. So the happy conditions for the enzyme is the buffer with that particular pH. So into the control I am going to add 1.5 ml of the phosphate buffer. This pipette is adjusted to 500 microliters, which means I will have to add 3 times. So this is 500, another 500, this has become 1000. And another 500, so this has become 1.5 ml. Always remember, pipette deep into the test tube, don't touch the sides of the test tube. Now into the test 1, T1 and T2, I will be adding 1 ml of the buffer, because I will have to add 0.5 ml of the enzyme into the test alone. That is why there is a reduction in the volume of buffer. So 0.5 plus another 0.5, 1 ml in T1. Same duplicate, which is T2, I am going to add 0.5 ml of the buffer and another 0.5 ml of the buffer. So now I have 1 ml of phosphate buffer in test and 1.5 ml of phosphate buffer in the control. Next I have to add the substrate, which is starch. Starch is 1% starch. Now for this I will be adding 0.5 ml of starch to all the 3 test tubes. So it is the same. So this is the starch which has been already prepared, which is 1% starch. So 0.5 ml of starch is added to the control. 0.5 ml of starch is added to the T1. And 0.5 ml of starch is added to the T2. Okay. Now I will have to keep this aside for about 5 minutes, because the buffer and the substrate has to combine and be in ambient conditions. So I will mix it. Mixing the substrate and the buffer and keeping it aside for about 5 minutes. So once we have mixed the enzyme, substrate and the buffer, next is we will have to keep it in the ambient temperature. Now we know that the optimum temperature for amylase is 37 degrees Celsius. As you all know that the amylase which is present in the saliva, our body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. So that is the optimum temperature for amylase to act on starch to break it up into maltose. So starch is our substrate here. So now next we are going to transfer these test tubes into a water bath which has been adjusted to 37 degrees Celsius. So let us go to that.
Tick.
So now after we added the the substrate, the buffer and the enzyme, we have kept at 37 degrees Celsius, which is the optimum temperature for amylase, for 10 to 15 minutes. So preferably 15 minutes it has to be in 37 degrees Celsius. So we have kept in a water bath which was adjusted to 37 degrees Celsius. We have the control T1 and T2. So we will leave it here for 15 minutes at the ambient temperature 37 degrees Celsius, and after this we will be adding the DNS. So during this time the amylase will act on the starch and it will liberate the maltose. So now we had kept our control and both the tests at its ambient temperature, so which contained the buffer, phosphate buffer 6.8, the substrate which is just 1% starch, and the enzyme which was the amylase. So we had mixed all the three and we had kept it in not in boiling water bath at 37 degrees Celsius. 37 degrees Celsius is the ambient temperature for amylase. So it was there for 15 minutes. Now at this ambient conditions, what would have happened is the amylase would have acted upon the starch and the starch would have been broken down to maltose units. So the maltose units would be released into the tubes now. So in order to identify the amount of concentration of maltose which is being released from the substrate starch, we are going to add DNS, because only when the DNS combines with the maltose, it forms the orange yellow colored complex, the intensity of which can be measured in the colorimeter, from which we can understand the concentration of the maltose. Now from the concentration of the maltose, because it is a product, we can understand the activity of the enzyme, as the activity of the enzyme is the volume of the enzyme which can convert micromoles of substrate into the product per unit time. So now our next step is to add the DNS. So we add 1 ml of DNS to all the tubes. So 1 ml DNS is added to the control. Next 1 ml of DNS is added to test 1, which is T1. And then 1 ml of DNS is added to our duplicate test, which is T2. Okay, now we have to mix the contents properly. So we put it in the vortex set. This is our control. This is our test 1 followed by test 2. Okay, now the next step is the reaction.
Pick.
So now this is a set of our amylase test tubes, control T1 and T2, to which we had added DNS. Now for the reaction to be completed, we have to keep the tubes in boiling water bath for 10 to 15 minutes. So we are now placing in boiling water bath the control, the T1 and the T2. Now note the temperature, because the water is already boiling. You will have to leave it not more than 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes you will have to take out the tubes and cool it and then measure the intensity at 540 nanometer.